Applying radar interactions within an environment, the key characteristics of radar include the frequencies, and a lot of times in the scene scenarios that we're involving, we have higher frequencies like X-band and millimeter waves, antenna radiation patterns, possibly pulsed or chirp waveforms. And as we interact with the environment, one of the big changes that we see when we go from a far zone technique, which might use radar cross-section and a range equation, in that type of a technique, if you were trying to apply it to a range, you might see a smooth fall off as you move away in range. When you integrate this with reflections, however, you get a lot of near zone effects and a lot of effects that happen with the environment. From the ray tracing, we can pick up ground bounces, we can pick up interactions with other objects. And so instead of a smooth fall off as we move away from a scattering vehicle, we may see a pattern that looks like this red line where we get fading and a lot of interference effects from all of the things in the environment. This is what we can pick up with the WaveFarer simulations and the ray tracing that we've integrated. When we're talking about drive scenarios, this can include clutter from things like guardrails, street signs, maybe buildings, walls, and poles. The basic starting point for the responses that we capture from our radar scattering are the complex impulse response, which gives us the magnitude, phase, and time of arrival of each arriving path that is propagated through our scene. And on the bottom here, we can see that if we were to simulate just a car in an environment and we ignore all of the multipath, we might get a backscatter. Even if a very detailed backscatter would look like this red set of returns here. When we fold that into the environment, we get ground bounce effects that maybe increase or reduce the scattering from the car itself. And then, of course, we see a lot of additional returns that are coming back. In this case, it's from corner reflector effects that we see in each of these guardrail posts. And of course, a reflection from this sign. So all of these different elements combine together to give us the total view of what's going on in the scene and how fields are propagating and scattering.